There is a silent and invisible mechanism operating within the most intimate architecture of your being at this very moment. A psychic gear of mathematical precision that shapes your days, your health, and your bank account without you realizing it. The overwhelming majority of people spend their entire lives trying to transform their material reality through physical exhaustion, muscular overload, and a suffocating anxiety that corrodes the soul. They work to the limit of their strength, cry in secret before the obligations accumulating on the table, and bend their knees in desperate pleas. However, upon opening their eyes to each new dawn, they find strictly the same locked reality, the same scarcity, and the same feeling of helplessness in their chest. The error was never in your worth as a human being, nor in your sincere goodwill to overcome. The cruel and silent error lies in the fact that you have been trying to force open the doors of life at the totally wrong time and plane. There is a sacred window in your consciousness, a gateway to the infinite mind that opens every night at the exact instant your body relaxes and your rational intellect begins to lose control. The minutes preceding your sleep are the most sacred space of your daily existence, for it is there that your tomorrow is drawn and sealed in the depths of your subconscious. When you lie down in bed, carrying the heavy armor of worries, reliving the arguments of the day, or fearing the lack of resources for next month, your feeling is not one of prosperity or peace. It is one of absolute terror. And your subconscious, which acts as a neutral soil and an inflexible law, does not analyze whether that thought is good or bad for your life. It absorbs the feeling of terror as a direct and supreme order, mobilizing the substance of the universe to manufacture more debt, more scarcity, and more reasons for your distress during your rest. The more you try to change your life by fighting during the day with despair, the more your subconscious consolidates the block at night. It is the devastating law of reversed effort operating silently against you. To understand how this nightly programming shapes matter overwhelmingly, observe the story of Margaret Holloway in 1954 in the city of Denver. Margaret was a 42-year-old woman who managed a small clothing manufacturing business and found herself on the verge of an irreversible financial collapse. Every night, upon resting her head on her worn cotton pillow, the dark wood floor bedroom was impregnated with the strong smell of cold chamomile tea and the deafening ticking of the desk clock. Margaret's heart raced in the dark. Her hands trembled as she remembered the overdue promissory notes on the sewing table, and a painful stiffness in her shoulders prevented her from falling asleep. She spent hours of the early morning praying in tears, desperately asking God to send a miracle to pay the rent on her commercial warehouse. However, the moment she finished her prayer, the dominant feeling in her chest was the absolute certainty of shame and eviction. She used all her conscious energy to cry out for help, but delivered to her subconscious the vivid image of disaster at the moment of falling asleep. And as the deep mind is a fertile matrix that multiplies solely the seed of the real feeling, Margaret's factory sank into lawsuits and order cancellations. Her own nightly apprehension was the psychic force keeping all doors of supply locked under key. The definitive turning point only occurred when Margaret understood the structure of her mind and realized the trap in which she had imprisoned herself. She discovered that her prayers of supplication and terror before sleep were, in reality, vehement decrees of bankruptcy. She was instructing her subconscious to destroy her business. By drastically changing her internal method and beginning to engrave the idea of absolute victory for 21 consecutive days in the half-sleep state, the energy around her life underwent a complete revolution. A major department store in the region approached her for an exclusive order, clearing all her liabilities and bringing a prosperity she had never imagined. Diga isso em voz alta, ou repita em silêncio no seu coração. My subconscious welcomes my nightly decree of wealth and peace. What took place in Margaret Holloway's journey was not a fortuitous exception, nor a magical concession of fate. It was the precise and rigorous application of what we call here on the channel the filter of the nightly threshold. This exclusive concept reveals that the exact instant your physical senses disconnect from the outer world is the perfect opportunity to imprint upon the deep mind the matrix of any miracle. The subconscious mind does not sleep. While you rest, the infinite intelligence within you continues working at an accelerated pace, adjusting your chemistry, and organizing the circumstances of your tomorrow. That is why I invite you to walk with me daily on this journey of awakening and transformation. Be with me every day here on the channel and watch your own life transform and unlock as you follow these simple steps and apply the laws of the mind. When you transform the habit of your night, your daytime reality inevitably bows to the new command you established in the silence. Most people live like beggars sitting upon an incalculable treasure simply because they do not know how to utilize the moment of least ego resistance. When you try to change your reality using the force of analytical thought during the day, your logical mind counters with doubts, traumas, and arguments from the physical world. But when you utilize the state of sleepiness to decree your abundance, the analytical mind falls asleep, leaving the path completely free for your subconscious to accept the order of opulence. Your external reality is the exact mirror of the subjective frequency you carry to your bed every night. There is no divine force punishing you with stagnation. There is only your own deep mind executing with perfection the thought seed you planted before closing your eyes. Diga isso em voz alta ou repita em silêncio no seu coração. Infinite intelligence takes command and establishes my abundance now. Reflect with deep gravity upon the way you have been ending your days. What does your mind whisper at the exact second your head sinks into the pillow? If you dedicate these sacred moments to replaying problems, anticipating scarcity, or nourishing resentment, understand that you are stamping the passport to a painful tomorrow. Deactivate the need to fight against events through exhaustion. Allow the silence of the night to become your greatest workshop of miracles. The moment you learn to relax your body and deliver a decree of victory to your subconscious before falling asleep, the walls of limitation dissolve, revealing the uninterrupted flow of prosperity that has always been reserved for you. The mechanics of the deep mind knows no rest, vacations, or intellectual breaks. It operates under the inflexible command of one of the most sacred laws decoded by the pioneers of the mind: the principle of subconscious impression. This universal law establishes that whatever your conscious mind accepts as truth and wraps in the warmth of a deep emotion inevitably becomes a concrete fact in your physical reality. To understand with absolute clarity how this transformation occurs, consider the classic analogy of the captain on the bridge of an ocean liner. The captain represents your conscious mind. He remains on the surface, analyzes sea charts, observes wind movements, and issues clear orders via the engine order telegraph. In the depths of the ship, hidden below the waterline, works the crew of engineers and stokers, representing your subconscious mind. The men in the engine room do not see the ocean, do not evaluate storms, and have no permission to question the captain's charts. If the captain makes an error of judgment, seized by terror, and gives a direct order to turn the rudder toward the rocks and accelerate the engines, the sailors in the depths will obey without hesitation. They will move the levers with surgical precision, and the ship will be dashed against the stones. The great tragedy of human beings is acting daily as a blind and terrified captain on the bridge of their own life. Looking at the fluctuations of the external world, news of crisis, or the temporarily reduced bank account balance, your conscious mind panics. And in that state of alarm, you send repeated orders of helplessness, scarcity, and suffering down to the engine room of your subconscious. And your invisible crew fulfills that instruction with terrifying loyalty. Diga isso em voz alta, ou repita em silêncio no seu coração. My subconscious accepts only commands of victory and abundance. Another transformative and unquestionable metaphor revealed by mental science is that of the projector and the cinema screen. Your material life, with all its circumstances, bills, relationships, and opportunities, is merely the white screen where images are being displayed. Trying to alter your financial situation by fighting with the outer world, despairing, or working until physical collapse is the same as running to the cloth screen and trying to tear the projected image with your bare hands. It is a violent, futile, and deeply exhausting effort. To permanently alter the movie displayed on the screen of your life, you must go to the invisible projection room within your soul. You must change the film roll of thought before the beam of light from infinite intelligence projects the image into matter. When you alter the matrix of your nightly feeling, The external projection transforms without you needing to use brute force. Observe how most people destroy their own destiny by nourishing the limiting belief that scarcity is a spiritual virtue or a blessed trial. Society has ingrained in human consciousness the erroneous idea that money is something difficult, painful, or corrupting. But the eternal truth, taught by great spiritual masters and philosophers like Ralph Waldo Emerson, is that nature knows no limitation. Trees do not save leaves, oceans display incalculable plenty, and the cosmos houses billions of galaxies without any rationing. Poverty is a mental pathology, a state of severe misalignment with the natural flow of God. Money is nothing more than the energy of divine substance, manifested in the form of exchange, service, and utility. When you cleanse yourself of ideas of smallness and understand that divine opulence is your natural state of inheritance, money begins to flow into your life in uninterrupted avalanches of abundance. Diga isso em voz alta, ou repita em silêncio no seu coração. God's wealth circulates freely in my life now. This is where it becomes indispensable to apply in your daily life what we call here on the channel the decree of Alpha Transmutation. This exclusive concept consists of taking advantage of the moment of muscular relaxation preceding sleep to cancel any negative suggestion received during the day. In the millisecond, a memory of collection, fear, or failure tries to emerge on your mental screen before falling asleep. You must not fight against it. You must simply disarm it with a serene command of authority. When you refuse to hand your attention over to the noises of the world and choose to contemplate the certainty of infinite provision, your subconscious takes command of your restoration. During the hours your physical body rests, the Supreme Mind reorganizes your chemistry, opens the channels of your intuition, and aligns the perfect coincidences that will bring the answer to your problems in the very first hours of the following day. The infinite intelligence that created your body from a single cell is the same wisdom managing the finances of the universe. There is no financial problem, no locked door, and no record of losses that can withstand the action of a deep mind properly reprogrammed by the power of conscious sleep. Be with me every day here on the channel and watch your own life transform and unlock as you follow these simple steps and apply the laws of the mind. When you assume absolute responsibility over what you cultivate in the silence of your soul. Before adormicture, you cease to be a dry leaf carried by the storms of the world and become the absolute master of your destiny. There is a state of sacred quietude, an infinite calm taking hold of every fiber of your being the instant you finally understand that the universe does not demand your desperate struggle nor your physical fatigue. The answer to every one of your prayers was already conceived on the plane of the Supreme Mind, even before your reason could articulate the first word. The reason so many people spend years imprisoned in financial scarcity, suffocating debt, or the despair of closed doors is that they insist on praying from the vibration of the problem itself. They try to bargain with the divine source, offering their tears, pain, and sweat as if they were bargaining chips. However, the infinite intelligence dwelling in your subconscious is an immutable, loving, and absolutely impersonal law. It never responds to anguish or the disordered supplication of doubt. It responds solely and exclusively to the law of your own subjective acceptance. When you learn to silence your physical senses and apply the decree of power in the half-sleep state with absolute serenity, the resistance of your intellect completely collapses. The knot of anxiety that tightened your chest dissolves like mist before the morning sun, and the invisible substance of life begins to mold external circumstances to reflect your internal victory. To pray scientifically is to align your soul with the perfect conclusion, resting in the unshakable feeling that what you decreed on the spiritual plane has already become an indisputable fact in matter. Approach this moment now with a calm, pacified heart, entirely purified of any resentment, fear, or haste. Disconnect from the demands of the day, drop your shoulders, relax your jaw, and feel the welcoming and protective presence of life covering every inch of your being. We are going to perform at this exact instant a deep spiritual intervention, a sacred nightly decree of liberation and peace to dissolve all the barriers of your subconscious. Breathe deeply and slowly. Let the air renew your energy, and as you exhale, Surrender all accumulated anxiety to the Supreme Mind. You are safe. The Divine Presence is in absolute command of your life. Feel the words of scientific prayer penetrate the fertile soil of your deep mind like a blessed rain of restoration. Absorb every spiritual command with the unshakable certainty that transformation has already begun in the invisible. The infinite intelligence dwelling in my subconscious mind is the creative source of the entire universe, and it now dissolves by the power of its silent presence all blocks, limiting beliefs, and patterns of doubt inscribed in my being. I recognize that the peace of God governs my mind, my home, and my affairs. All discord, fear, scarcity, and uncertainty are completely dissolved in the light of supreme truth. The wealth of the Creator flows into my reality in uninterrupted currents of opulence, peace, and prosperity. Money is a divine idea circulating freely in my experience, blessing my path and multiplying into infinite channels of utility and good. No barrier created by the physical world and no limitation imposed by men can halt the progress of my journey. Because infinite wisdom opens perfect pathways of victory where before there was only impossibility. I surrender my tomorrow, my finances, and my family to the unshakable protection of the Divine Mind. The peace that surpasses all understanding guards my heart, and I rest in the absolute certainty that everything is already accomplished on the plane of spiritual perfection. I give thanks for the liberation, internal clarity, and infinite wealth materializing now in my present reality. So it is, and so it shall be forever. Feel the authority of this decree echoing in the depths of your spirit. Doubt has been eradicated, and your subconscious has accepted the command of triumph. There is no force in the physical world capable of revoking the spiritual law you have just activated in your deep mind. Repeat now in the silence of your heart this absolute truth. Infinite intelligence supplies all my needs and opens doors of abundance for me now. Infinite intelligence supplies all my needs and opens doors of abundance for me now. Infinite intelligence supplies all my needs and opens doors of abundance for me now. You are not a limited or helpless being at the mercy of economic crises or world circumstances. You are the legitimate heir of divine wisdom, endowed with the supreme power to shape your reality through your subconscious mind. The blueprint of your victory has already been recorded in the depths of your being, and the Supreme Mind is aligning all events to deliver to you the sacred harvest of your faith. Be with me every day here on the Subconscious Code channel and watch your own life transform and unlock as you follow these simple steps. Subscribe, leave your like, and share this message to strengthen your mind daily with the immutable laws of the Spirit. Before falling asleep tonight, as you lay your head on the pillow and feel your body relax completely, refuse any thought of concern or fear. Disconnect from the screens of the world, close your eyes in silence, place your right hand over the center of your chest, and gently repeat the divine word of power, like a lullaby for your subconscious. Abundance, abundance, abundance. Fall asleep, lulled by this feeling of realized victory. It is in the blessed silence of your sleep that your subconscious will work to build a radiant, prosperous, and deeply fulfilled tomorrow. Go in peace. The Divine Mind guards your rest and illuminates your path,